I'm drunk. I'm not slow. I'm drunk.
Crazy in Love, episode 7, bonus episode with Chrisean Rock and Blueface. Did you use my toothbrush? That is a question I never want to have to ask anyone. And if I have to ask, I'm going to take that toothbrush and make a shank out of it. Because what? So Blueface said that his toothbrush was already wet and asked Chrisean has she used it and then proceeded to smell the toothbrush. And this heifer got nerve to be laughing and giggling the whole time like it's funny. That's just trifling. I didn't find nothing cute or funny about that. So they make a little comment about how they exchange spit and everything. And he said he gonna clean it off with hot water, but ugh. Now, y'all know I'm nosy, so when he was rinsing his toothbrush out, I couldn't help but notice all the things on the sink. Now, I see the Proactive, I see the witch hazel, but I also see some chlorhexidine. So that tells me somebody just got some dental work done, and you definitely shouldn't be sharing bacteria like that. But of course, she think it's so funny and cute, and he tells her, a toothbrush is kind of personal. And he asked her, where your toothbrush at? This girl gonna say she don't know. How you don't know where your toothbrush at? And the cool part about it, she thought it was so funny and cute. Before I used anybody's toothbrush, I would have been using that little edge control brush to brush my teeth. I would have just rinsed it on out and did my thing with it before I went and picked up somebody else's toothbrush. That's just nasty on both parts. Then she looking at him with these little googly eyes like she's happy that he's brushing his teeth with his toothbrush that she didn't use. And he telling her, oh, girl, you freaky. That ain't freaky, Blue. That's nasty. That's trifling. And speaking of freakiness, what's up with this new thing where y'all spitting in each other's mouths or wanting other people to spit in y'all mouths? What's up with that? I guess eating the booty like groceries just wasn't nasty enough, huh? In a minute, y'all gonna be out here trying to outdo Kevin Gates and Carisha. But let's get back to the show. So they had this little moment where they're helping each other put on their jewelry. He put on her necklaces. She put on his. They put on the bracelets. Then he give her a bracelet. It was a little cute moment or whatever, I guess. So Chrisean is all giddy and happy that he just gave her a bracelet. It was a nice gesture. So they getting ready to go out of town, and he low-key push her down the stairs. And she why you pushing me? He because we need to hurry up. And I'm sorry. I'm the type of girl, I'm not playing none of that. We're not playing pushing. We're not playing fighting. We're not playing name calling. We're not doing none of that, sir. So they go outside to get in the SUV. And before she even in the car for 2 seconds, she's already secured the bottle. One thing about Chrisean, her and that Casamigo ain't going to be too far from each other. So they both genuinely seemed happy. They were in good spirits. And I like that for them. That's better than them both beating the brakes off of each other. So she tell him to get comfortable. And he makes the decision to go and sit in her seat and have her sit on top of him. So Blue really likes her to show him all this affection, like he said in the last episode with the therapist, which I think that's really good that he does like to get the attention she gives him. Then, of course, she start turning that bottle up. And y'all know, soon as she start turning that bottle up and hitting that chaser, drunk Chrisean is here. So she's slurring her words, grabbing all on his face, talking about, what's up? And he what's up? And she why you acting like that? And he acting like what? And she acting how you acting? I see why he be dealing with other women because that will get on my nerve 24/7. So, of course, she started doing the most, sticking her tongue out, licking them all in the face. And he was trying to be chill with it. So they finally get to the airport, and he's telling her, get your stuff together. It's time to get out. And she's He's why are you acting slow? And she's I'm not acting slow. I'm drunk. Can you fix my hair? Can you hold my birth certificate? It's she really acts like a child, and he acts like her parent. But I really don't think she acting slow. I low-key think she's kind of slow. And I can't get over the toothbrush situation, because if y'all leaving to go out of town and you ain't had your toothbrush in the morning, that means you ain't packed the toothbrush to even go out of town. So they arrive in Atlanta and they're in the room putting on their new clothes, getting dressed and everything. And so Blueface asks her, like, what songs are you going to perform tonight? And she like, the songs, only the ones that I got out, babe. I think sometimes Blueface be putting on for the camera and Chrisean just don't be catching on. So they in a room playing around or whatever. And so she tells him, this is my first time performing for Pride. And he's like, oh, so, are you going to be gay tonight? Could you be making out with girls? Like, maybe we can bring a little joint back to the room. Like, this dude really was low-key trying to get a threesome cracking out in Atlanta. And I got to give it to Chrisean because she checked him real quick. She was like, you making me uncomfortable, babe. See, this is why I be wanting to fight you. And when did I say I was wanting to share? And Blue was such a fool. He like, okay, don't beat me up. I seriously cannot take these two serious. So Chrisean started doing her makeup, and while she's doing her makeup, Blue asked her, like, are we going to have a good time tonight? And she's like, yeah, as long as we don't fight. And he's like, well, as long as you don't fight. She's like, yeah, but you be making me fight. And he like, man, just don't fight me. So she continues to do her makeup, and then he asks her if she can do his makeup because he got these black eyes. And she's like, black eyes? And he like, yeah, I'm in an abusive relationship. And dude really got two black eyes. And she was really putting makeup on him. Like real makeup. I'm starting to low-key think they both like putting hands on each other and then having makeup sex or something. This cannot be normal. So apparently she went through his phone and seen some other women and she punched him in his face, but he said he didn't punch her back. Child, they are so toxic. I cannot get over the fact that she beat him in his face and then she's beating his face with makeup. Chrisean definitely takes after her father. So he admires his makeup one more time before they head out to go get in the truck. And you see, they got the bottle already. So he goes and he takes the Henny bottle from her. He like, nah, you can't have that. You can't have that. And she's like, why? He's like, because you like to swing on me off the Henny. Damn. He's like, you a tequila girl. Where your Casamigos at? So Blue turns to his homeboys and he like, hey, remember them last girls that we hit when we was out here? And before you knew it, Chrisean smacked him in the face and he like, man, I didn't even know you then. She be like low-key embarrassing him in front of his friends. So he tell her, you put your hands on me one more time and I'm going to let the homies pack you out. And the homeboys say, hey, remember when we did to the last girl? And I'm thinking like, who? His sister? Because y'all know Blue let his homeboys and homegirls beat up his sister and brother-in-law. And Blue was stomping on his sister's stomach. That's how she peed on herself. So Chrisean started getting mad. And so Blue pulled one of her moves and is like, give me a kiss. And she like, nah, I don't want to give you a kiss. And so she's asking him, so was the other girl, was she wetter? Did she squirt on you? And he's like, nah, she wasn't no creamer like you. And oh my God, creamer. Y'all, who gonna tell him? Who gonna tell Blue that was not cream, y'all? I don't think that was cream. It's giving discharge. It's giving yeast infection. If she ain't brushing her teeth with her own toothbrush, let alone know where her toothbrush is at, I know she ain't washing that ass good. I don't think it's cream. I don't think it's cream, Blue. So she's at her little performance, and honestly, she was doing really good. Like, I'm proud of her when it comes to her music. She was really feeling it. The crowd was feeling it, and then she almost fell off the stage. But she caught herself and her titty because her top broke. So she basically was performing with her titty coming out, but she did real good. The crowd was feeling her. Blue told her how good of a job that she did. He also was critiquing her, telling her to sing more into the microphone and pay more attention to her words. And I really like the fact that he was giving her feedback. So speaking of feedback, soon they get on the bus, she asks Blue, is he going to eat her butt like he was trying to do earlier? And the reason why she didn't let him do it, because she had to poop. So then she started telling all her business because she was drunk. She was in there straight telling on herself because she was telling Blue how she gave up on other guys for him, basically. And he's like, oh, yeah, when the last time you gave up on a guy? And she's like, oh, my ex. And he's like, oh, well, what did you like about him? And she's like, oh, well, that he was fascinated with me that I got so wet. And he was like, oh, so you effed him? And she's like, no, he just touched it. And he like, oh, so you let him touch your thing? And she's like, well, no, he can see it through my pants. She was in that Sprinter spilling all her tea. And Blue was just like, oh, yeah. He was like real cool, real nonchalant. And the homeboys was getting an earful. And Chrisean just kept on telling on herself. She did eventually shut up when they got to the club. So they went to like 3 different clubs to perform. And each time they left out the club, they was staggering harder than they was when they left the other club. So now it's the next morning and they're preparing to get up to leave to head home. And y'all, I was so proud when I seen Chrisean brushing her teeth with her own toothbrush. So you not as dirty as I thought you was. I was literally like, okay, get your hygiene on. So they sat in the room and they got their stuff together. And she mentioned to him how he was going through her phone last night. And so she's like, well, did I pass? And he like, yeah, you passed. And she like, oh, that's why you woke up and started eating my cat. I'm like, oh my God. I swear they be on the road and I be like, okay, they not that bad. And then they come with some straight clownery. So they gather all their belongings and they leave the hotel room dirty. Because Chrisean's like, oh, we ain't got to clean up. I'm like, this girl really is low-key trifling. Anyhow, they leave and they go and get on the Sprinter bus. Now, when they get on the Sprinter bus, she like, hey, let's go to the back. And he like, go to the back. She like, yeah, I can get on my knees back there. And he's like, for the show? And she like, no, for me. Like, are you serious? Yes, she was serious. So they have a little moment afterwards and she tell him how, she's grateful for him and thank him for giving her feedback and everything. It was a nice little moment. So they're on the private jet now and they're all cuddled up and they're talking about planning a romantic date. Now the whole time they talking, I couldn't take my eyes off of his feet because I believe I'm traumatized from the last time she had his foot in her mouth. One of his toes was throwing up Crip and the other one was throwing up West Side. And then I started throwing up. Literally. Because this girl put his foot back in her mouth. And he all telling her, get up in there, get up in there. Yeah, get that pinky toe. Oh, my goodness. Luckily, the show was over because I couldn't take any more after that. And as I watched them walk away, I couldn't help but think about him snatching her ball and her busting him upside the back of the head. To stay with somebody after that, you really gotta be crazy in love. Or stupid as hell, cause it could never be me.
Make a psycho, make a traffic psycho.